If you are like me and you don't like London system, or even better, you hate it, then this video is for you. And if you are a London player and you pretend to love it, I know that deep down you know this is not a decent way to play chess, and I hope that after this game you will leave this opening forever and ever. This masterpiece is a game between Grandmaster Mikheil Mchedlishvili against Super Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana in the Fide World Cup 2023 Round 2. Black has more than 200 Elo rating and White is dreaming for a draw against one of the best in the world. I'm quite sure that all of you know how White will play in this game. He kicks off with pawn to d4, knight f6 and bishop to f4. He shows his worst intentions and kills the beauty of the game. Caruana responds with pawn to d5, knight f3, e6, e3. As you know, London players just play these moves automatically. A robot can also play these moves. They play knight to d2, c3, bishop to e2, pawn to h3, bishop to h2, castle, and then somehow pawn to a4, rook to e1, and they just play these moves against everything. Here Fabiano plays pawn to c5, undermining White's center and queen side. He has some intentions to play queen b6 and attack the pawn on b2. White plays knight to d2, as I mentioned, knight c6, and he pushes pawn to c3, and here a committal decision by Fabiano Caruana. He took on d4. Usually this move is not a good move because White recaptures with pawn on d4 and he controls e5 square and he has the outpost on e5, and the semi-open e-file is usually good for White, but Caruana has some very specific intentions, and here he plays knight h5, a very good move, harassing the White's bishop. If White plays bishop to g5, Black will simply place queen c7, and he wants to control the f4 square. In this game, White plays bishop e3, and here bishop d6. Once again, you can see Black is trying to have control over f4 square, and having this bishop on e3, White cannot use the semi-open e-file. After this, White plays a good move, knight to e5. I mean, if you play something like g3, it's a very bad move. It just weakens the light square around the king. So White plays knight d5 and he attacks the knight on h5. Black retreats to f6 and now he has an attack on e5 knight, and White defends it with pawn to f4. After this, Caruana plays queen to b6, attacked the b2 pawn, and queen b3. They always play queen b3. If you play queen b6, they will just automatically place queen b3. And here comes the critical move of the game. And here, Fabiano Caruana plays a move which is beyond my understanding. I recommend you to pause the video and see if you can find the move. Here, Caruana plays a very mysterious maneuver with knight to g8, knight goes back to home, and he just wants to kick this knight from e5 with pawn to f6, and after that he might want to play knight to e7. White says, okay, I will play bishop to d3, and here comes another shock, and Caruana plays knight to h6. How can you play something like this? You're supposed to have the knight on the center. This is controlling so many squares and this is so-called a good knight. But you play knight g8 and after bishop d3, you put your knight on h6, which is a knight on the rim, which is a dim, and in most cases this knight will not have a good future, but Caruana has something else in his mind. After queen takes b6, a takes b6, White defends the pawn on f4, and here Caruana kicks off this knight with pawn to f6. And he might want to put his knight on f5 later on. This is the main idea of knight h6, and in some position he might want to play knight to g4. White plays knight f3, bishop d7, normal moves, a3, and here castle. White goes to long castle, and another good maneuver by knight to a5. He plays very good with his knights. I recommend if you play against him, just trade off his knights because he's a fantastic player with his knights. And after knight to e1, he pushes the pawn to b5 and secure the square on c4 for his knight. After knight c2, he just his knight on c4. This is positional chess. This is how you should supposed to play chess. And after rook e8 comes another fantastic maneuver, and he plays bishop to e8, a fantastic move. He wants to put his bishop on h5 and then activate his bishop. As you know, in these structures we usually say that this bishop is a bad bishop and it cannot go out of from the pawn structure. But as you can see here, Fabiano after f6 have some intentions to activate his bishop, and he's not just playing good with his knight, he's also a brilliant player with his bishops. Opponent plays knight to b3, he wants to jump to c5, but Fabiano Caruana says no, I will just play b6, control everything. Bishop g1, he attacks the e6 pawn, and black just defended for a while. King to b1, rook f to e8, defend the pawn. Knight to c5, and here comes another knight. And look at these two knights, look at them and how they control all of the white squares and black squares. White plays bishop f2. You can see that white has nothing in this position and he's just waiting. He had built this pawn structure and he's thinking that, okay, I'm just safe and I will just protect everything. I will just move my pieces and dream for a draw, and I hope for a draw. Black just simply plays bishop f8, and he wants to do another maneuver. He wants to put his knight on d6, maybe exchanging these bishops, and after that putting this knight on e4 and better square for this knight. And here white afraid and took on f5. E takes f5, and now look at this e4 square. Knight to b3. I don't know what's white's ideas. Black start an attack on the king side. He plays in all sides of the board and he wants to attack the pawn on f4 later on. White plays knight to e3. This is a bad move, but computer suggests that rook e8, rook e8, rook e1, but I don't know what happens after rook e4. I'm just thinking that black is completely winning in this position. Okay, but white plays a mistake and he plays knight to e3, and here comes the monster, bishop to h5. He wants to enter the position after he attacks the rook, and after rook c1, here comes the monster. He goes to f3 and he wants to give a check on e4, and look at this bishop. Look at this bishop on e4. Knight takes c4, b takes c4, knight to d2. He just hoped that he can exchange the bishop, but Caruana says no, this is not going to happen, and he put his bishop on e2. He wants to transfer to d3, and after knight to f1, he took on f4, tooks, and here comes another bishop attacking the pawn on f4. And after bishop to g3, king f7, comes the king in the endgame. You should activate your king. Knight d2, b5, he maximizes his position to the best. And after king a2, h5 coming, after knight b1, and here comes the finisher h4, and after bishop takes h4, bishop takes f4. Look at white's rooks. They are very poor and they don't have any square to go. White plays rook c2, and after bishop d3, white says, enough. I don't want to continue this game. You can see, for example, if white plays rook takes e8, for example, something like rook f2, black will just put his rook on bishop on e3, and after rook f3, he will just push his pawn to f4. This bishop will coming, and the domination of these bishops and black's passed pawn will finish the game. So after bishop to d3, white resigned this game, and I was quite happy to saw this game because finally someone broke this London system with positional play and with great domination with his knights and with his bishops. I hope that you can crush London system in your games like this, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if this is the case, please like the video and write your thoughts and comments below this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy chess and life.